Hey there, fellow travelers. As you might remember, I spent most of 2023 into early 2024 going chapter by chapter through the Fall of Númenor, so I thought it would be good to weigh in on the teaser for the Rings of Power's upcoming Season 2. Now, I have once watched this once already, but it was more of a glance during a busy workday, and I didn't really give it much thought. I can't remember any of the details, so I thought I'd sit down and watch it now and give my honest reaction to it. This will be a pretty fresh and honest reaction. I really haven't even thought much about the Rings of Power since the first season, watching the first season, which I think I finished back in late 2022. So this is going to be pretty honest, pretty fresh. And that's the plan here. So now, in case YouTube won't let me post the trailer as part of this video, I may be about to just jump ahead to the reaction. If you want to watch the full-length version of this video, head on over to patreon.com/TolkienRoad, where I'll have the whole thing posted. All right, let's watch.
An evil, ancient and powerful, has returned.
Prepare yourselves.
He worms his way inside your mind. The crest of him slithers in.
I think he has been here. I think he's been here among us all along.
Every soul in Middle-earth is in peril.
He is Sauron.
All right. So, that is the teaser trailer for the season 2 of the Rings of Power. Okay. Now, let me just kind of level set here by saying that I was not a big fan of the first season of the Rings of Power. You can go back and listen. We did, Greta and I did a review of each episode, went through, did the recap, and talked about everything in each episode. And amazingly, for as much as I had anticipated that show, it really left me at the end of the first season feeling like this barely feels like Tolkien. It barely feels like it's worthy of, what he created. And, I think as I've thought a lot about it over time, the reason for that, I attribute to the fact that it feels very corporate. It feels very much like this is a show being created and run by committee, and with interests that don't align well with Tolkien, like the spirit of Tolkien and Middle Earth. And I think that's kind of the deep-seated problem that I felt with all of it. It just felt very calculated, it felt safe in a lot of ways. And I think too, like, the comparison I made was like, Tolkien spent his whole life working on the stories of Middle Earth, and it was really this passion project that no one believed in but him and maybe a few of his close friends. I think about Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings films and how good they were. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're pretty darn good, right? And and I think about those as being passion projects as well. I don't sit here and think like, oh, Peter Jackson was calculating how he was going to do things. I really think he was a visionary, and just as much as Tolkien was a visionary in the literary sense. And I think you look at the Hobbit films, and the reason that they weren't as good as they could have been was because Peter Jackson, by that point, was not so much the visionary anymore as he was kind of executing on what he had already created, and doing what the studio wanted. Ironically, with those Hobbit films, you had originally it was supposed to be done by Guillermo del Toro, with Jackson executive producing, I believe. But I think at the end of the day, Del Toro is kind of a visionary director, if you've seen any of his works. And I think at the end of the day, when he just wasn't able to, they weren't going to let him do what he wanted to do with the films. And so Peter Jackson stepped in to kind of salvage the project, and ended up feeling a little more corporate, a little more like, we're going to do this the way the studio wants us to do it so they can make all the money. They can have their big blockbusters. And that's what the first season of The Rings of Power felt like to me overall, right? That it was this big corporation, Amazon, looking at this as like, this is too big to fail, and they weren't really willing to take the chances to make it the show it could have been. You need somebody who's a visionary, who is willing to take risks and do things that haven't been done before. And that's what the story of the creation of the Rings of Power, the story of Númenor, if you will, not really, but the kind of origin story, the origin story of Sauron as the main bad guy. That's what all these things really deserve. You go back and you watch my whole walkthrough of Fall of Númenor, over 34, 35 episodes, whatever it was. And it takes place over, that story takes place over like 3,500 years. And you get no sense of that from the first season, because basically it doesn't, right? They are rewriting the history of Middle Earth. So that's kind of how I felt going into it. I will say, watching this, it doesn't strike me as being all that different. It feels like they're just kind of, hitting the gas on, the things that they did in the first season. I don't see anything that looks particularly different. There were some nice visuals. I'm not really sure what the crawling goop was at the very beginning, the crawling black goop. The sea dragon was something I thought they should have done in the first season. I thought that would have been cool when they were at sea. What I was hoping they would do, when Galadriel and our friend, now that we know is Sauron, I can't remember his name, Halbrand, something like that. Anyway, from the first season, he when they're out at sea, I thought it'd been really cool if like they got attacked by some kind of sea dragon while they're at sea, and then like Númenor, like a ship of Númenor comes up and like destroys how cool would that have been? It was such a missed opportunity, the way it was ultimately executed, because it would have shown like kind of the might of Númenor, especially in the naval sense. But it was just a missed opportunity at the end of the day. I guess it was kind of cool to see a giant eagle. Not really. I guess that was Farazone who was jumping off of the giant eagle. There are already just issues with Farazone and how he's presented. The weird thing where the castle just kind of poof, it appears. I really hope that's not Barad-dûr. I don't think it is. Barad-dûr was. I think it was constructed. I don't know. Maybe there's some technicalities in there that they're maybe certain ways that Tolkien put things. They're trying to leverage those things. But that was kind of a weird little scene to me. It feels a little more magical than what Tolkien intended, if that makes sense. Kind of like everything is just magic, whereas in reality, like Sauron, yes, he was a god. He was a very powerful being, but he didn't always just operate by magic. Not in the sense of like, the Harry Potter sense of magic, like poof, there it is, it appears. And then, Sauron, I guess looks fine. I kind of get this. I get the idea of why they're presenting him in that way, and I think that more or less aligns with probably how he would have appeared at that very moment. But like at the end of the day, I don't know. It just feels like they're, so far it seems to me like they're doubling down on kind of the mediocrity of season 1, if you will. And I just, that doesn't fit with Tolkien. There was nothing in this that made me think like, maybe I should reconsider, maybe I really should be excited about season 2. Maybe they've learned some lessons and they're going to do some really amazing things here. Everything I saw felt very based in things we've seen before. And it doesn't really seem like it's going to break that sort of corporate managed mold of the first season. It doesn't feel like we're going to get a vision, like a really strong creative vision. It just feels like we're going to continue what Peter Jackson started on the screen, what Tolkien gave the stories for, and Peter Jackson started on the screen, and we're going to stick to that, and we're going to make money from it. And I don't know. And man, it's going to be crazy to watch. And I assume that now that Amazon Prime, has commercial breaks in their shows, unless you pay, extra money, it's gonna be really jarring to have like commercials hitting in between the different scenes, and it's gonna feel so wrong. So anyway, I'll watch it when it comes out because it is Tolkien stuff. But nothing at this point is making me feel excited for season 2. And that's just the honest truth. That's the way I feel. I don't know. What do you guys think? Love to hear from everybody else in the comments below. Do you think I'm being too hard on it? Do you think, do you see some things in there that you got really excited about? Were you not a fan of season 1 and now you're seeing this and you're like, okay, now I'm excited? Are you just a complete fan of Rings of Power and you think I'm completely wrong and need to give this some better thought? Like, make the case in the comments. I welcome you to. And I'm not here to to put down the case you make either. I truly want to interact, and it is something based on Tolkien, and so if it's worth appreciating, I want to be able to appreciate it. If there are parts of it that are worth appreciating, I want to be able to appreciate them. So that's where I am. I'm sure we'll get some more teasers and trailers and all that kind of stuff as we build up towards late August. And I'll be back to do more reviews of those and discussions of those. Hopefully we'll see some cool stuff in those. So yeah, subscribe, comment, right? Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and then comment, just to stay on top of things. And if you are if you've known about the Tolkien Road for a while and you want to support the work we're doing an awesome read through of Lord of the Rings right now. It is the most epic read through there will ever be of Lord of the Rings. Read through and discussion. You need to be part of it at the end of the day. So check us out, subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to this channel, look for new episodes. We've already got the first 9 episodes that are just for the first chapter of Lord of the Rings up. And then support us over at patreon.com/Tolkien Road. We really appreciate any and all support that you can give us. End of the day, we want to be very true to Tolkien. We want to be true to what his desires would have been, to try to understand those things, and really to deeply appreciate everything he wrote, especially the works of Middle Earth. So, I will have some thoughts coming soon on the recent announcements when it comes to Peter Jackson's new films that are coming out. So stay tuned for those. Subscribe, comment. And then, of course, we've got the War of the Rohirrim film coming later this year, which I'm actually kind of looking forward to. I'm excited to see if there's some visionary work that's done there. So that's where it stands. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will talk at you next time. Bye-bye.